Steph and I had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with our children. It was the first time that we got to actually cook the entire dinner ourselves and sit back and relax and enjoy the holiday at our own home, at our own table with our kids. It was beautiful, beautiful. So we hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving, however you choose to celebrate it or not. Maybe you live somewhere where you don't celebrate it. That's cool too. And happy freaking holidays. But as always, thank you for listening to the Energy is Love podcast. Go to energyislovepodcast.com and check out the website and everything that's there. We recorded this episode on a Saturday afternoon after we had just wrapped up, after we had just eaten a big, huge meal. We just had lunch. It was like day 3 of Thanksgiving leftovers for us, so I was pretty stuffed. But it is a very, I don't want to say intense. It's not intense. This is a conversation about masturbation during this episode. And it's awkward and difficult and challenging and hard, but yet not really that big of a deal, but it is. Anyways, we just pick apart masturbation and what it means and why and how and all the different nuances that exist in society around it and also in our personal lives. So if you have ever wanted to hear damn near an entire episode about masturbation, this one is for you. And no shame for masturbation. Sit back, relax, and enjoy another wonderful episode with Steph and Craig. Here we go.
You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is the Love podcast.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is Love podcast.
The podcast for the universe.
The Energy is Love podcast.
I could have tossed that a little bit better, huh?
Oh, you could have, but...
I kind of sound like I'm sick.
I've
decided as I'm sitting here listening to myself.
Okay.
I'm not sick. Doesn't it kind of sound like I'm recovering from a sore throat?
Maybe a little congestion?
Maybe.
Like you're recovering from?
I don't know.
Are you a little nasally today?
That was just as bad of a toss.
It was worse.
But no, I'm not sick.
You kind of do sound it now. That's all I can hear.
I do, huh?
Why?
I don't know.
It's because...
Maybe I'll turn on a different sounding voice. Do you ever talk to people that totally sound like they're putting on a sexy voice?
Yes.
It's weird, huh?
Sometimes I talk to people and I see that, and sometimes I watch people that I know talk to other people and turn that voice on, and I'm like, oh, really?
I don't turn on a sexy voice.
Why did you imply that it was you?
Because you implied that
I
it was
did not.
me.
I said sometimes.
You
some
always...
people. You got a guilty conscience.
I'm
like,
not
no,
naming,
we do.
I'm not naming names, but his name starts with Craig. No, that gives away too much. It's C salad. No, wait. It's Craig at. Oh, wait.
That's funny.
I don't put on a sexy voice when I talk to people.
You do.
What does my sexy voice sound like?
Hey, you want to go fuck? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I can't do your sexy voice. You also get like super giggly and touchy.
I get super giggly and touchy.
You turn into a little girl. It's cute. I'm just kidding. No. You kind of do get a little giggly, but I think it's just because
that's
I don't know.
Nerves. That's not some
I know
sexy
it's
voice.
Because you're like, hey.
That's not like, hey. I don't have a I do have a sexy voice, but it's a jokey, sexy voice. It's like, I can't even do it now.
Well, I'm not the right girl, apparently.
Huh?
You totally do.
Do you ever talk to people, though, like other than me, and you hear it?
Yes.
And you're like, you're putting on a sexy voice.
Yeah, not that. It depends. I think what I see more is the walk change. Like all of a sudden it's like...
Sexy walk.
Yeah, it's a sexy walk. I notice it with guys. That's what I was doing. It's like chest puffs out. Suddenly their arms can't touch their sides. Like, oh, look at this. My arm's over here. And then they check their fly.
Do you notice that as much?
What do you mean?
I mean, does that stand out to you when guys walk around like that?
Yes.
Do you notice when women walk around with their sexy walk?
No, women just walk sexy.
No, there's totally
they just
thing.
walk sexy. Women are just sexy movers, and that is it.
You just described guys puffing their chest out.
Well,
and
guys
kind of
do that. Women just are
stretching
sexy
out their
walkers.
arms and walking around, so they're taking up more space. Like I'm totally thinking of the animal kingdom, and like a big silverback gorilla that stands up on his legs and he puffs his chest out and he starts walking with his arms. That's totally the way guys walk when they're trying to strut. And then you have women that are totally like sultry,
They just,
moving
like,
with their
dance.
hips and their ass bounces.
Their ass bounces.
There's a sexy walk that
There
some women
is,
do.
but you know what? It's just like sometimes women are just fluid. Like we just naturally like kind of swing when we walk because we're happy. I'm trying to show you. I have a cousin, and I will not name names, but I have a cousin who has this great story. It was years ago of the sexy walk. So
For a man or a woman?
she's a girl. She's a woman. So you named what my little my clumsitis.
Yes.
Well, it's a family tradition. It's a family trait. It's
family-
passed down.
It's a genetic.
It is very much a genetic.
You suffer from
And
clumsitis.
she also has it, and I think she has it more than me. So her story is on one of the moments where the sexy walk came in, and I'm so glad you brought this up because I haven't thought about the story for years. So she's walking Gophers, like clear at the end of Twilly. Remember that
Gas
used to be-
station.
And she's walking straight, and there she sees her ex. So she's just being like cool, her head back, sunglasses on. She is walking, not caring, not looking at him, trips over the garbage can. Oh my God. So sometimes our sexy, we don't care about you walk, and then boom, and falls. So that's okay. I mean,
We're
still
just
love her.
animals. Like we're totally animals. Think about all the Animal Planet discoveries that you've seen where it like shows the
Peacock.
the birds or whatever it is.
Big.
And every single race that has some sort of like strut to attract mates. That's
That
so
dance
funny.
pops out their tails like.
It's a good bird sound, babe.
That's what I do. I saw you and was like,
Do I have one, you think?
do you really want me to answer this?
I must have one.
Oh my God. Yes, you strut your peacock.
I have a strutty walk.
It's like Katy Perry has it right.
Katy Perry?
She sings the song, Let Me See Your Peacock. I think I'm way more awake than you.
You're definitely way more
I'm
awake.
talking way
Just
faster
as
than
a
you.
just as a what's an advisory? See, just as a heads up for the people listening, I just ate a ginormous lunch, and I'm ready to take a nap.
And I just got done giving a massage, so I am awake and ready to go.
What does my strut look like?
It looks very well. Obviously, it worked. So you have the sexy strut.
I don't know. I don't know if I have a sexy strut. There's
Sometimes you trip when you're trying to do your sexy strut. You're trying to act like you're all this cool and nothing here, and you go and trip over your foot, and it's adorable.
There's sometimes that I'm walking and I feel like I feel like John Travolta in Staying Alive.
Oh.
I feel like I can hear music and I feel like I'm like in this really good vibe and I'm strolling along and it feels really, really good. But I don't know if that's the same as like some sort of sexy walk. I think that's just like a happy walk.
A happy walk. That's how I described women.
No,
Yes.
I've
Yes.
seen women.
And sometimes you do pull out your John Travolta and do your happy little bouncy strut. It's cute though.
And then I have like a serious walk.
You have an angry walk. You have a mean business walk.
I do.
I don't smile with that walk.
I got a walk that starts 10 feet before
I
me.
just got nervous. I'm like, oh, God. I've seen your business walk.
It's the everybody get out of my way walk.
And they do.
No, they don't. I try it. And people still manage to clumsily get in my way.
Well, that's just the awkward crazies. Like if you're locked on and you start moving, but I also get excited. Like sometimes you get your serious, there's a difference. You have your serious face when you're serious and you give me the, but there's still a little bit of playful. And then I'm like, and then you have your serious face. And then I realize this playtime is over.
It's all
It's
business.
just like everybody grab your shit. It's time to go.
Oh, we got to go.
That's exactly what I heard when I said that. Like, oh, I didn't mean to quote that quite. So
There's this funny story that we joke about all the time where it's back when I was a police officer and there were these two new officers, relatively new. I don't remember how long they'd been on duty, but pretty new guys, pretty green. And they were on this call for a really long time. And it was a stupid call. I don't even remember the point of it. It was oftentimes you'd get called to something that was more or less just some sort of like disagreement between neighbors or something that really no crime was committed or nothing really happened. You just had to show up and kind of keep the peace and listen to two parties talk about their complaints and then tell them to go their own separate ways. It was really one of those kind of calls that was pointless. But these guys were on that call forever. And finally, I got done doing what I was doing and I was like, what are they doing? What's taking so long? So I go over to find out what's going on. And they had like, between the two of them, they had managed to like blow this call up into this huge thing where there were like way more people involved than originally. Like normally you'd have, you know, person A that called about person B and you might get a person C that wants to add their 2 cents, but that's kind of it. They had like person A through M. Everybody and their dog was there talking about whatever the hell it was. And these two guys, these two officers who should go unnamed, were like trying to run people's name. Like they were trying to figure out who was like somebody had to have a warrant and they were searching that. Like they were just going through every possible avenue trying to figure out who was in trouble or what was going on. And I show up and I'm like, what's going on, guys? And they like hurry up and give me the spiel of what's going on. And then they start talking about like all the other stuff that they're trying to do. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, this is dumb. Let's go. We're done here. There's nothing to do here. And some of the crowd that had gathered that was watching and adding in their 2 cents, one of the ladies made a comment because it was so funny. You can tell sometimes people that deal with law enforcement on a regular basis, they're very comfortable dealing with cops and they have no problem at all. And you have other people that are like nervous when police show up and, you know, don't want to talk to them or they kind of turn around and go the other way. And then there's other people that are like totally comfortable in the space of dealing with police officers because they've done it so much. And this lady was one of them where she knew she wasn't in trouble. She knew there wasn't like anything that she had done. She was basically just there fucking around and playing games with the cops. And these two guys, because they were so new, were like totally being played by this woman in a sense. And it was just this whole big thing. And I show up and I'm like, what are we doing here? And I'm like, this is really dumb. So I tell the two officers, I'm like, yeah, we're done. Like, just go wrap up whatever, go give him back his license. We're done with this. And I look at the lady and I'm like, yeah, you guys are done. Get out of here. And she's like, oh shit, we got to go. She like grabbed the other lady because she's like, oh, we got a supervisor now. She hurried up and cleared out because she could tell immediately that it was like, oh, this cop actually knows what he's doing and means business, and it's time to go now, as opposed to Tweedledee and Tweedledum that are dancing around, and it was funny. So yeah,
I love it. So yeah.
Do you remember what we were going to talk about?
I know there was. I don't. I think I
You
have
don't
notes.
remember?
Do you remember?
I remember very well.
Oh God, that means that I blocked it, and that means it's scary. I'm scared. I got the good chair though. I got the chair that says I don't have to. I'm not in the hot seat. You have the hot seat chair.
No, I remember what we were going to talk about, but then today while I was running around with Asher running errands, something else popped into my head.
Old notes. I don't know where my new notes went.
It's okay. We don't need your notes. But I have two things that I want to talk to you about, two things that I want to bring up.
Okay.
And they're so completely different topics that aren't even remotely close to like in the same realm of similar things. And they're almost kind of like, they almost like oppose each other to where we can't talk about both of them.
Fun.
So I'm trying to decide if we talk about both of them. We're going to talk about both of them and it's going to be really awkward.
Okay. I have a funny thing real quick before we get into that. How I made, like we talked about retrograde so much last time. And
we made it through, by the way.
We made it through, yes. But then I made it a point to tell you how like so much of the stuff was coming out and how like it was like a day or so later. I don't remember. Anyways, I was telling you how I was then grateful for retrograde. Do you remember that? And I even asked you, I'm like, do you remember me saying that? And you're like, yes.
You were grateful for retrograde?
Yeah, because all the things that were coming up.
Yes.
I was so grateful because all of a sudden it was like we were in this cluster and then all of a sudden we could speak and we were talking through things. I'm like, oh, okay, here's the benefit of retrograde. And I said I was grateful for it. And then I looked at the dates, and it's because retrograde had ended that we were finally able to speak again. And so I was grateful that it was over, but I didn't know. So I'm like, okay, this is actually not so bad now. It had ended.
It was over.
It was over, but I didn't know. I'm like, oh, we finally got a handle on it.
I don't think we're that susceptible to retrograde.
Well, how do you prove that then? Or how do you explain that?
It definitely has to do with the summer solstice.
It's winter.
But you can still have a solstice in the winter.
You can, but it's not the summer one.
Is it called winter solstice?
You have like fall equinox and winter.
What is a solstice?
It's a dance party. It's where women get to go out and dance naked
party.
And bring in the energies.
I would like to go to said
Oh, by
solstice.
the way, for the fall equinox, I totally stood the broom up.
Did you?
Yeah. You walked in and saw it.
I
There's
remember.
a picture. Yeah.
What is a solstice? I'm very curious now. Do you know?
I do in a theory and a feel, but to be able to
Something to do
verbatim
with the sun, right?
It's the point of when you have, it is, so you have the sun, but it's also when, I don't want to just give my
You can
tiny bit
Google
of
it.
an opinion because then it sounds like I'm talking out of my ass. But you also have the part of when you're like harvesting and when you're planting. So it does go with like almanac-y farmer stuff, but it's totally witchy stuff.
No, it's not witchy stuff. I guarantee it's straight up astrological, scientific
Is.
shit.
Well, and then
Go ahead and look it up, and I'm going to tell the people, why are you throwing your phone?
Because you're being bossy.
I'm not being bossy.
Give me my phone back.
Yeah, look it up, because I want to know the actual definition of what it is.
I don't know the actual definition. I know how it feels.
In my mind, the solstice is when
Oh, shut up.
it's in relation to
Nobody's talking to you.
the distance between the earth and the sun.
Yes, it is.
So it's like when we're at a specific distance.
It is.
What did it say?
I haven't got to it yet. It is that.
I'll
But
look
there's
it up while you tell
also,
me.
hold on. It is that, but there's also, I believe, oh, fuck it. You're too busy on your own stuff.
Tell
I
me.
hate this when you put me on the spot and then you go super fast and I don't have time to
Baby, you got all the time in
articulate
the
my
world.
thoughts and you overtalk me and you're a big jerky jerk.
I'm not a jerky jerk. Tell me.
The dog needs to go out.
Okay.
So I know that the summer, there's a winter one and there's, I think, a spring one, but I don't honestly know. I'm not at the greatest understanding of all of them because you have all of the seasons. And I know that it has to do with like when you're harvesting your crops and when you're planting. So it does have to do with that. But because of the days and the seasons and how they go and yeah, the sun, it's like, I do think it's the longest day of the year. They do the summer solstice on when we have the longest day and the same. But I just know that it's a lot of energy and a lot of stuff that comes and you can make some cool stuff happen. So as far as the technical, only a sun thing, I don't know. I think it's more. I think things are open and you're able to do a lot of cool creations that is completely witchy, wonderful stuff.
I agree completely.
But I don't know.
Do you want to go let Angel out?
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
I'm
dog.
calmed down.
The dog out and back in.
Dog's out and back in. I'm
Do you
no
want me-
longer talking fast. I'm fine. I'm no longer nervous about whatever it is that we're going to talk about.
Is that what that was, you think?
I think so.
Just getting nervous about what we're going to talk about?
When it's something that I should know, but I have forgotten, it's usually because it's a not wanting to talk about things. So
no.
I was scared.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I want to read to you the solstice thing. Are you
Read
ready?
away. Yes.
Solstice. Either of the two times in the year, the summer solstice and the winter solstice, when the sun reaches its highest or lowest point in the sky at noon, marked by the longest and shortest days. Not bad.
Not bad.
As I was Googling it, hold on, I'm going to, it pulled up what is a solstice party. We're going to see what that is.
A solstice party. It's
Throw
dancing naked.
Throw a backyard solstice party to celebrate the start of the summer. The longest day of the year seems like an ideal excuse for a party. So here are some ideas for a Okay, that's not a real thing.
It's done.
Okay. So are you ready for the two things that I want to talk about?
I guess so. I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Okay, what do you got?
Don't you remember we were going to
No,
talk about
wait.
masturbation?
No, I did not, but that's right. I do now.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you don't need to be nervous about that.
No, masturbation. There's nothing nervous. I stuttered. There's nothing nervous or nerve-wracking there. It's because I said too many N's. That's why I stuttered. I was like, no.
So we were recently talking and realizing that both of us have some little bit of shame that exists when we masturbate. Some little part of like, yes, this feels good. Yes, I enjoy this. Yes, I'm an adult. Yes, it's okay that this does. Like all of these things that are totally acceptable and fine.
Yes.
And yet there's some little part that is still like shameful about it. I still feel gross sometimes. Most of the time, like when I masturbate, I get done and I'm like, oh, you're a sicko. Like you're a pervert, or like, that's gross, or like people, I don't know. It's just a weird feeling of uncomfortableness.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. I don't want that.
Yeah, that
I don't want that feeling. But then you can imagine, like, in your head immediately, just think about men and think about men masturbating. And the first thought probably is like, ooh, that's gross, or like that person is a pervert. Like if you think of an adult man masturbating somewhere, you're like, what is wrong with that guy?
What are we talking about? Is he like walking down the street yanking it, or is he in his own?
They're kind of the same.
They're not. They're not, because I think...
You think a grown man...
You know what? Actually, that's not true. Hold on. This is some awareness. So I think just walking down the street, unless you're at some place where... some sex street where it's acceptable. I don't know. I'm sure there's a thing.
Sex Street USA?
Probably not in the USA, but I'm sure there's one somewhere. No, like... I am talking about like where you're able to be an exhibitionist and there's voyeurs, and it's just kind of this whole thing where everybody's in agreement, and then fine, go for it.
Okay.
But I think in your own wherever, like wherever you're doing it, if there's not other people that, I don't know, I think it's okay. But then I can think of the times that there's lotion by my bed. It's for my hands. However, I can think of plenty of guys' rooms that, that makes me sound like I just had sex with a bunch of guys. That's not the case. Did not have sex with these people that I've been in, that I've just seen like a bottle of Jergens by the bed. And I was like, ew.
See, it's gross.
It's not though, but I was also much younger. It's been a while since I've just ended up in men's bedrooms. So, you got to take my age too.
But something that is so natural, something that is so normal, something that is so like universally probably 100% across the board done or have been done by every single person alive.
Mm-hmm. I get turned on at the thought of you doing it.
Yeah, but that's different.
I don't know if it is.
Well, you get turned on by the thought of me doing it because of our love and our connection and all that kind of stuff. But if I was some random dude, I guarantee you would not get turned on.
Oh, I don't know. You're pretty sexy. I think I would. I'd be like, I bet that guy looks good.
No woman ever thinks that. No woman looks at a strange man and thinks, I bet he looks good when he masturbates.
I don't think that's true. I call bullshit on that one.
You think so?
I do. I 100% do. I don't think it's common. Like as in, I don't know. No, I do think it's common. I think it's more prominent than you know.
That women think it's attractive. Or not attractive, but like arousing.
Well, this depends. Do they go to church every Sunday or no?
They probably do and masturbate at church.
Are we talking about the men or the women?
Either or.
Okay, I think religion has made masturbation more of a sin than anything.
You think it's religion?
I think it's a control thing. So yeah, I do. I 100% think, if there's another way to look at it, I would love to know that, because my tunnel vision can only see it as a shameful thing brought on by all of the organized religion. And I feel like when you're free of that, and I'm not saying free of God or whatever, I'm just saying when you're free of the control, then you're more expressive. So that's why I ask. Because I think it's more likely to be something that is gross with organized religion and roots in that, as opposed to not. But who knows?
I don't know. I think religion perhaps has like colored society in regards to this topic. But I bet you because you and I both grew up here in Utah, which is a very heavily like outrageously outnumbered state for the Mormons, right?
Yes.
So it's the culture of that religion, the culture of the Mormons has...
It wasn't just Mormons I was referring to, though.
Right, but we grew up in a state, in an environment, in a society, in a culture that is heavily colored and tainted by that church, by that religion. And there's undoubtedly plenty of other religions that have done that across the country and things like that. But I think even in places where there isn't some sort of heavy influence of religion in the culture, I bet you masturbation is still like a sin. I bet you it still has some sort of negative stuff associated with it.
I don't know, because I can think of the places where I see that is a sin. I think of the heavy influence that religion has on that area. I'm actually going to research that. I'm curious. I'm super curious of like what, I'll figure out what to Google, but I'm curious.
Don't Google
I'm going to Google.
Google dudes masturbating. It comes up. Grown men masturbating while walking down the street.
No, I'm serious. That's very fascinating. I hope. No, I don't hope. I don't know what I hope. I'm open to learn more about it and see if it is. I think it's religion. I really do.
I agree. I think it's probably the biggest factor of why it carries such shame.
I think it's the only factor.
Yeah, no, it can't be the only factor.
I do, and I think it's like when you look at, I think it's because it trickles down on everything. Like, okay, here's outing things. I remember masturbating when I was little.
How little?
I don't
what's
remember
your
the
earliest
age.
memory?
I don't remember the age, and there's also like I don't know if my masturbation is because that's normal or if it was trauma. So I don't know because I don't know, right? But I remember my mom catching me, who is not a religious person. She grew up with religious parents.
She grew up in this state.
And like. I feel bad. I feel like I'm about to pick on my mom big time because like this is something like you don't say that shit to kids, and she would never say that to me now. But at that time, I think it just freaked her out. She was like, what do I do with this? You know,
for sure.
But she told me Jesus wouldn't like that. Oh, fucked me up.
Jesus wouldn't like that. Wow.
And I was little, so I'm still like.
Do you think that's what she really said, or do you think that's what you remember her saying?
I guess there's no way to really know that. I don't know.
I have a hard time.
That's what I remember, right? It doesn't fit my mom.
Yeah, I have a hard time imagining her saying that.
Yeah, and I remember Stephanie, Jesus wasn't like that, and like the head shaking, and I had the shame that came with that, and just being like,
maybe she was joking.
I can still feel. I don't think she was joking with her, like, I don't know, 5-year-old, 4-year-old. I don't know. I remember being like, I can still feel my body on the top bunk, on my bunk bed, and the daytime and the sun coming in, and I still can feel that environment. And then just like the shame and just like the disgust that was on her. Oh, Jesus wasn't like that.
So is that the earliest memory that you have of it being something that you had to be ashamed about?
Masturbation? Yes. That's also my first memory. No, I know that wasn't my first time. But shame around sex came before that, which, you know, again, so there's the trauma part. But yeah, so that's my first association with masturbation.
Jesus wouldn't like that.
Jesus wouldn't. She wouldn't say that now, but I don't know. I think she just fucking panicked.
Probably.
Like, you know, sometimes I've panicked before.
Said dumb shit.
Like, I hope Jesus wouldn't like that never came out of my mouth, but who knows? Maybe it did.
So how do you feel like that influenced your relationship with masturbation from that point on?
It already felt weird. just because of other stuff, So I don't know. It fucked me up. It was gross. I was gross for doing it. It was not the first time my mom caught me, which it was never an experience that didn't involve shame. It doesn't need to be said, but it was bad.
I remember when I was,
oh God.
like, I don't remember when I first started masturbating. I don't have like a memory of when that first time was, or even the first time period. I have a memory, I think, of when I first started looking at pornography. And in my mind, they go together so much, even though there was plenty of masturbation without pornography. But all of it is like shameful. All of it was something that like I had to hide, something that had to be, boy, I don't even know, just not okay to do. And the risk of getting caught, like I remember so much that fear of getting caught and how much anxiety that brings in the moment, and how you have to like push through that anxiety and that fear just to achieve the orgasm, just to have the release from the masturbation.
Go faster.
Like that dynamic is super fucking weird on how... Oh, Asher's home.
Oh, thank God.
And pause momentarily.
We cannot continue this. Stinker. He's rude.
He is rude. Sorry for the interruption, people. Folks, listeners, we had a 13-year-old boy getting dressed to play in the snow, and he brought with him a bunch of 13-year-old attitude. Mama said, knock you out. I don't remember where we left off other than, what was I saying about masturbation?
I don't know. He walked in and we were like, shh.
Stop talking about it.
Jesus won't like that.
Close the door. How funny is that? It sucks so bad. I hate it. I've done the best that I can to try to normalize and make masturbation okay for him. But it's still like, do that shit in your room by yourself, when nobody's around, which obviously he should be doing. But how can we do better?
I don't know. I'm so sorry. Like, if any of the girls want to have a conversation about it, I'm there. Like, I want to talk to them. I don't exactly bring it up because I don't know really fucking how to. And now they're so old. Like, I feel like that window was missed.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to Asher,
see,
like, I'm so glad that he has somebody amazing like you to talk to, because I think it's much easier for a boy to talk to his dad about it than his mom. However, mom would be there, right? But I don't fucking know what to say. I don't know, like, I didn't even know, like, conditioner was something you needed to give him a heads up on instead of the soap. I told him to wash it more when, like, I thought he wasn't washing it good enough. I didn't realize what was happening. So, like, I'm super grateful for you.
It's the cleanest part of his body.
I was like, wait, what? My baby? No. So I don't know. So I don't know how to do better other than I could do a lot better. I'm just happy to I'm happy that you take care of that and you make it okay. I'm so happy that you don't shame him, because otherwise I would take over and poor kid would be in therapy forever. But I'm glad that there's no shame, that you let it be normal, but it's also something that needs to be kind of private, because it is private. It's you. Like, you can't just show people unless they,
No, not unless they just want to see.
No, but like, there's a consent thing when he's an adult. It's just not right now.
For sure.
Like, it's like, it isn't something that has to always be hidden and like it's like a shameful thing. It can be an expression, but between consenting adults and a consenting safe environment, like, I don't know how to say all that. So I'll ruin it.
That's what Louis C.K. got in trouble for, was masturbating in front of people. He would like ask them basically, or I don't know if he would ask them, but he would basically tell them. And then
you tell them like what?
I think he would have asked. I don't know the specifics, but this is old news. I mean, this Louis.
I don't know what happened.
He would basically ask women if he could masturbate in front of them, and then he would.
Did they say yes?
I'm assuming, because if they said no, I guess he wouldn't. So
did he just walk up to strange women and say, "Can I masturbate?" in
No,
front of
not
you?
like strangers. I think it was people that he like knew, like in the green room or something like that at, but backstage at
Was he the
comedy
boss
club or
asking
something.
people that was his employees? If
I
he
don't
could?
think so.
Because that's fucked up.
I think he was just asking fellow comedians and people that he knew and had, do you know what I mean? Just like friends and stuff like that.
I think you also need to be able to read the fucking room. Like, that's helpful. Isn't that one of the things that the comedians are supposed to be good at? Reading the room? Like, clearly he fucking sucked at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
Like, I know. I think
really.
I know who I can ask and who I can't. Like, I can come up and, hello, person that's standing next to me.
I mean, you could just throw it out there.
I think I would read the room.
There's definitely guys that I'm sure are doing that somewhere.
Reading the room?
Just asking, hey, do you want to watch me masturbate? And then if women are like, sure, then that's it.
Well, what if they are sure?
Then that's totally fine.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's such a weird space.
It is a weird space.
Why is it still weird for us as adults? Like two fully mature, consenting adults in love. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I still get nervous. Like, I don't do it all that often, which is a shame. I wish I would do it more.
I wish you would do it more too.
But the times that I do, there is that little bit of like, honestly, I usually don't do it when you're home. But like, there is that part of me like, oh my God, if you catch me, you're going to think I'm fucking gross. You're going to think I'm disgusting. That's embarrassing. Like, that is so weird.
We're so fucking dumb about sex in this
I
culture.
know.
Just so dumb.
We do good together. Like, we don't feel as silly when we're doing it together.
Yeah,
Like, there's that.
we do.
Maybe we just need to, maybe that's the key. Maybe you're supposed to masturbate with a friend.
Let's not put that out there. That's not the advice from this episode.
Sorry.
If you're an adult, that's totally fine.
Oh, God. Well, of course. Oh, my God. I didn't even think about.
You didn't think about when masturbation starts from an early age?
No, I was thinking you said as adults. You said as adults. I'm thinking adults. Like, no, don't. Like, it gets better when you're adult. Just until then.
It gets better.
Just, it's okay if nobody sees. Like, nobody needs to see. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You're completely normal, but just like, keep it private.
Sex is the same thing.
Same.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it is and it isn't, right? Sex doesn't have the same, like when you and I have sex, I don't immediately feel shame when the kids realize that we've had sex, or like they give us,
Or they catch us.
or they catch us.
I feel shame then.
But like when they give us guff, the next morning or something like that, when they could hear us or something like that, I don't really care.
I get embarrassed.
It may
I
be a
feel
little
bad.
embarrassing.
Oh, God.
But it's not the same shame feeling that you have for masturbation.
No.
And nobody even knows about the masturbation. It's only you.
Do you know what? I just like had this thing. Masturbation is super important and everybody should be doing it.
Yes.
Not just for the health release, which is a big thing, right? Or because we are also designed that we get to experience pleasure. So, no, it's not a sin. But so much of that is around pleasure being a sin, sex being a sin, all of that. When you masturbate, you learn what you like and what feels good. And that also helps you with your partner and like how to, like, you're supposed to know what feels good. You're supposed to.
Right.
Like, sex is, sorry, people like that can't handle this. I don't think they'll listen to I don't think those ones are really listening to this podcast. Like, it's supposed to feel good. It gets to feel good. Pleasure is a thing that you get. It's a wonderful thing.
How can we do better with it?
I think we need to have more sex and then find out.
Well, we're having a
lots
lot
more
of sex.
I know.
We had sex last night and we had sex twice this morning.
So we are on the right track.
Yes. But what can we do better about masturbation?
We could be, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Do you think we need to up our masturbation game?
I personally do. I don't know how much you masturbate, but
I don't that much.
see, I feel like we should be touching ourselves.
More?
I do.
Let's do it.
I say that and then I don't. And then it's kind of like weird.
Like what would more look like, you think? Should we make a effort to masturbate once a week? Twice a week?
Oh, definitely not twice. I mean, you can.
6 times a week?
Wouldn't that be great? I've definitely gone through bouts of
Chronic
chronic
masturbation.
I have like had moments in my life where it happened a lot.
Yes, multiple times a day.
But I don't know. Like I'm kind of worried about that because I'm still very aroused. I still like sex a lot. And it's not just I like sex. I mean, the way my body physically responds, it doesn't, it's not hard to misinterpret but I have a hard time with masturbation.
Part of the problem is you and I have such a good, healthy sex life. I don't have a lot of desire to masturbate.
You think that's it?
Yeah, like there's often times where I've like tried and I get like going, like the show starts and I'm enjoying it. And then I'm like, I don't even want to stick around to the end of this movie. And I turn it. I'm not talking literally of like the movie or whatever, but I don't.
That doesn't sound like it's because we have such a good sex life.
But no, we do have such a good sex life. And so it's like, I don't even bother with masturbation. Because to me, it's almost like in the context too, where you have to masturbate if you're not having sex. And that's not true either. Right? You can do both and it's fine. But it's almost like, well, I'm having really good sex right now. And so what would be the need for masturbation?
Is that like a programming thing?
I think so. I don't think it's healthy. I think it's probably a skewed, thing.
I wouldn't want to masturbate if I was happy, if I had a fulfilling sex life. So if I want to masturbate, then that means that
I'm depressed and not sexually satisfied.
Is that what's happening?
I think so.
Well, are you?
Am I depressed?
Or not sexually satisfied?
No, that's what I'm saying is I'm not masturbating. So that's a good sign that I'm happy.
What?
And content.
Holy shit.
What?
You just said you're not masturbating, so that's a good sign that you're happy and content.
Yes. What?
Do you not hear that?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Oh, babe.
That's not good, right?
Whip it out right now. It's okay. I'm sorry I made a joke right there. No, that's not good. I don't think, yes, there can be unhealthy coping mechanisms that are used with masturbation. There can be.
I have those.
I have had those as well.
Had or have?
I don't know.
I have them.
I don't know. So
how do I cultivate a healthy relationship with masturbation
without taking it to?
And it's not even taking it to some unhealthy place. It's just not approaching it from an unhealthy perspective. Right? I'm in a healthy place right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't really need to masturbate. And then it's like, well, I see all the nuances of how that's not a good thing and how that's like an unhealthy thing.
Well, I'm not going to say that's not a good thing because then that also implies that you're doing something wrong. So if you masturbate, you're doing something wrong. And if you don't masturbate, you're doing something wrong.
Well, you know what they say about that.
Yeah, somebody likes to point out other people's double binds.
Damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know. I would like to think that I could cultivate and create some sort of healthy relationship with masturbation, regardless of what my mood is, regardless of what my emotions are doing.
I think you can.
I think I can too. I don't know what that looks like. I keep sitting here thinking and trying to envision it and imagine what that would look like. And I think like I want to incorporate you into that space in some way, shape, or form.
That's fun.
That is fun. I like that. But then at the same time, like I should just be able to enjoy that.
Think about me every single time. That's okay too.
It's not think about you. It's like somehow the only way that it's okay is if I incorporate you.
But you know that's not true.
I do know that's not true. So that's why I'm like, okay, well then that means I can't incorporate you if I want it to be a healthy thing. And of course I can incorporate you, right?
Of course.
This is becoming a much heavier topic than I really had intended for it to be.
Okay. I took the safe seat.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what like I said, I don't know what it would look like if it was healthy.
So you've never really had support with it, right though?
No.
So what would it look like from the outside for you? Like How does it? Because I mean, I tell you, like, it's totally fine, and maybe I make it. Maybe I like it too much, so that doesn't make you comfortable. It's totally fine. I don't need to participate in it. Like, I don't have to know that you're doing it. You don't have to tell me. You can, because it's kind of sexy, but like, you don't. If you do it, you don't need to feel guilty. You're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing you need to confess. Whether I am the lead role, a sideline, or not even in that movie isn't really a factor. It doesn't really matter, because like, it just doesn't matter. Like, it's all of it is fine. So other than just like saying all these things, but that doesn't help you feel. So how do I help you feel?
Yeah, like intellectually, I know all of those things, right? You're very supporting all of that stuff. But I'm sitting here like, well, what's going to change the feeling of it? And that's the thing that I don't know. And it's maybe I don't need to change the feeling of it.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to feel that feeling more. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can think of times when I, like when I'm turned on and I'm aroused and I start masturbating. And I'm like, oh, this feels good. But then it's like not usually, like probably the majority of the time I have to incorporate porn if I feel like it's going to be anything, right? I don't like that. I should just be able to masturbate without porn. But it's like the cause and effect thing. Like it seems so outcome driven, right? It seems like if I just masturbate without an orgasm, it was pointless.
Okay.
But that's not true.
That's not true.
So maybe I practice that. Just masturbating without an orgasm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I say try it. How many years do you think you've been, in a sense, had support of masturbation?
What do you mean by support?
Like I'll hold it for you while you do it. No, like where it's okay. It's not a sin to masturbate. How many years do you think you've actually had it not be a problem for you? For the people around you not to be upset with you or hurt or something. How many years?
I don't know. I don't think it was really that big of I don't think it was a problem necessarily when I was a kid.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It was...
Well, there goes that theory.
Well, it was like weird. I wasn't made to feel shame about it per se. Like, I never had my mom come and tell me that Jesus wasn't going to be happy. And it seems like it was an okay thing. I don't remember being like shunned or punished or shamed or anything like that. But at the same time, it still had copious amounts of shame associated with it. So trying to think about like when...
Do you remember it being an insult in like school? Like that was one of the insults. Like somebody masturbates. They would just like start that rumor.
I don't think so. I don't think I remember that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I fucking grew up in a weird place.
Yeah, well, we know that for a fact.
Oh, shut up. So not everybody gets like...
I don't know.
Because that was like a thing. And like that is one of the things that I was not teased about. I got teased about a lot of shit. And like people would guess something and come at me, but nobody ever was like, haha, you're a masturbator.
And when people say, haha, you're a masturbator, you'd get other kids would get teased for it?
They would like really go off like somebody, masturbates or, oh, they caught somebody masturbating, whether they did or not. And there was the one joke, like if you have hairy palms, you masturbate. And oh my God, somebody looked at their palms. That means they masturbate. And it was such a disgrace thing.
Yeah.
It was like.
Yeah, I don't remember that as much.
Okay. Well, then what the fuck's your problem with masturbation? Like, seriously. Well, was that a hard life?
It's helping.
Sorry.
You're cute. I don't know. I don't know what my problem is with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the majority of the time I can do it. And that's the whole thing is like, I don't feel like I sit there in copious amounts of shame or like for the most part, when I masturbate, I do it and it's fine. And it's, a somewhat enjoyable experience. And then I'm done. Like, It's not this wholly big shame-ridden thing where I'm like, God, I feel so disgusting and I'm so ashamed and I don't want to tell you and I have to hide it. And none of that really takes place. But there is still always just this little like whiff of shame, right? There's always just this little thing inside of me that's like, gross. And it's not. So I'd like to get rid of that little part that's
I hope you can get rid of your whiff.
So.
I don't think you need to be ashamed of it, no matter how it comes. I mean, obviously there's things, but you don't have those things. Like we can look at, if we're going to pull everything in the picture of people that are fucked up, like, no, just, I don't have any. And don't be the devil's advocate right here. Don't.
I'm not being the devil's advocate, but that doesn't minimize my experience.
No, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not saying that there is 0 times that masturbation is, like there's definitely some weird shit out there that's not okay. This is not it. I think normal consent, not normal as in, but like consenting adults, everybody is adults. Consenting, like, babe, I just don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I don't either.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Whatever. I'm not diminishing your feelings. I'm just saying you have a whiff of shame, and it's really hard for me to not keep throwing the whiff out there. This sounds so stupid. I hate the sound of my voice right now on the mic. So, I don't know. Like, I've got my own issues with masturbation to work out. You work out your whiff, I'll work out my Jesus fucking hates me if I masturbate issues, and we'll just go from there.
Well, what can we do better?
I don't know. I don't think we should talk about it anymore right now. I'm kind of like...
Feeling all shitty about everything?
Yeah. I don't know what just happened there. I don't know what just happened. I don't know how to make it better. And I can't. So.
There's nothing to make better. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm totally excited and ready to masturbate.
Don't know that all.
How funny is it going to be if people share their stories with us about it? I guess that wouldn't be funny. I guess you should totally share your stories about your experiences with masturbation and if you carry shame for it and why. And maybe you have something that has worked.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because we could all do better, right?
I definitely don't know what works right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make it okay. I don't know what to do. Like, I try to be supportive and, like, I don't know.
Hey.
What else is expected?
Baby, there ain't nothing wrong with how you just reacted, responded, supported anything. It just is what it is.
Just is what it is.
Yeah. So.
Good luck with your masturbation game. Clearly, we don't have the answer.
Maybe we'll figure it out. We'll post about it.
No, I won't.
No.
I will not.
Okay.
You can.
I probably will not either. I don't even know how we're going to post about this episode, but we'll figure that out.
What did we talk about at the beginning? We can't
Solstice.
talk about... Yeah.
The summer and winter solstice.
I think it's energetic more than... I don't know. I don't know. I'll write about that.
That's all good.
Stupid wife thinks it's energy related.
No, your wife's not stupid. My wife's not stupid either.
Yeah. Okay, well, what was topic 2? You don't want to get into it?
No, we're done. We're good.
Are we?
Yeah, I'll save it for next time.
Happy masturbation. Everything's fine. No shame.
What does my sexy voice sound like?
Hey, you want to go fuck? I'm just kidding. Masturbation is super important and everybody should be doing it. I think you also need to be able to read the fucking room. Like, that's helpful. That's the key. Maybe you're supposed to masturbate with a friend.
Let's not put that out there. That's not the advice from this episode.